Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Debrief. Here on the Blood Red channel, I'm your host, Edward Kay. Joining me this evening is Matt Addison, and I'm doing my best to sound chipper, but to be honest, still feel absolutely sick to my stomach. Had a few deep breaths before the stream, but still pretty angry, I've got to be honest. We'll go chronologically through the game, Matt. Obviously, Liverpool coming out on the wrong side of it, 2-1 to Tottenham in the end. And I mean, it wasn't the worst start we've seen from Liverpool this season. Probably not the best either, but had the better chances in the game. And then we come to that red card for Curtis Jones. I mean, your thoughts on that one, first of all?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why it's given as a red card. Let me put it like that. I don't think that it was. I don't think the intensity was there, and I don't think he's endangering an opponent, which is a key part of that red card sort of protocol or thought process that the referee goes through. But I think the big thing for me with that is that the referee goes over and sees a still image. He doesn't see the tackle. He sees the contact, which, a still image taken out of context. He's not, done that at the end of a thundering tackle or a huge challenge that has gone over the top. He's done it to try and roll his studs over the ball to try and whip it away from, I think, Basuma, isn't it, that he goes into. But to me, that isn't a red card. Obviously, most of the people that I've seen on social media, maybe it's just the people that I follow within, a Liverpool circle, but it doesn't seem like many people seem to think that was a red card. So, yeah, you're right to say that Liverpool started well. I think they were unlucky with that. There was some other moments they were incredibly unlucky with. I think Jurgen Klopp said afterwards already that it was, one of the most, unfortunate games that he's ever seen in terms of one team being on the end of difficult decisions. I thought Liverpool played really well. Even with 9 men, they did superbly to keep Tottenham out for as long as what they did. The centre-backs, the goalkeeper were brilliant, right up until that last touch. I just think there's so many positives to take, but it just doesn't feel like it at this moment in time. When you've played, a team as good as Tottenham, even with 10 men, Liverpool look more likely to score, I think. They had bigger chances. They had opportunities on the counter-attack. But the difficulty is, obviously, that the VAR has not given Liverpool any favours. There's a string of decisions that we'll come to. And, some of them are 50-50, but it did seem today like a lot of those 50-50s went the way of Tottenham. And look, there's no conspiracy. There's no agenda against Liverpool. It's just one of those days. I think it felt like that for a long time. I suppose the other big positive really is that even though it was one of those days, Liverpool did really well. I think last season, Liverpool would have crumbled. They would have got absolutely battered in this game. This time they've got that energy. Szoboszlai was able to sort of help with the counterattacks, win the ball back. McAllister as well. That the midfield this season compared to last season was able to deal with it a lot better. But it's still frustrating. They deserved at least a point. And I think had it been 11v11 for the whole game, I think Liverpool could have really done with a statement today in terms of going top of the Premier League. They've obviously missed that opportunity. But, they are streets ahead of Tottenham in terms of their individual quality. And look, I think the next few games will show that Liverpool have got a much more favourable run of fixtures coming up compared to what they've had at the start of the season. They've got, obviously a Merseyside derby coming. They've got, a couple of difficult games, Brighton as well. But there's a couple of more relegation contenders after that. I think Liverpool have just got to bounce back, try and put this behind them and forget about it. But I think that will be easier said than done because, for the second season in a row at Tottenham, they've probably come away with it feeling, that refereeing decisions have gone against them and they've been unfortunate.
I mean, you could go to 3 seasons in a row. I think if you think about that Harry Kane challenge on Andy Robertson, that was 2 seasons ago, wasn't it? I mean, yeah, you spot going back to the red card. You spot on about him being shown the still image as soon as he goes over. I mean, obviously, I think we all know as soon as he gets sent over to the screen what is going to happen. But the fact that he sees that still image, I mean, I don't know if you saw or if anybody saw the Malo Gusto red for Chelsea last week, but it was a similar thing. I mean, it was a much harder tackle, but gets the ball first, catches him on the ankle going through, and then it goes to VAR, and all they show him is the still image of him being caught high up on the leg. It's like, well, obviously it looks bad like that, and when people are being shown still images, even when they're being shown slow motion images, I do think a lot of VAR, I mean, the decision making probably could be improved by them just actually watching the decisions back at full speed, because I don't see how anybody can think that's a red card. I mean, he clearly just lunges, slips over the top of the ball, and then his leg goes into Bissouma. But we'll speaking of still images, we'll come on to the I think probably the one that's got everyone most baffled is that Luis Diaz offside. I mean, they showed the image for about 10 seconds on Sky. We didn't see any of the lines being drawn, which I can't remember the last time I saw that happen. And I mean, I'm yet to see anything anywhere online that suggests he's even close to being offside. I mean, are you expecting a PGMOL apology after that one?
I mean, it looks that way, doesn't it? You'd like to think that they can't have got that one wrong. I think, there's lots of elements of VAR that are contentious and, are difficult to do. But I mean, drawing the lines in the right place, we have seen it this season already that they've done that in the wrong place at certain points. Surely with that one, though, it's so obvious, isn't it, with where the players are. I'm sure the lines were drawn. You'd like to think that was the case. I don't think it was one where they just brushed over it, even though it did happen very quickly. I'm sure that they will come out and make a statement. But the fact that they still haven't done that yet and haven't given any clarity on the thought process, the longer that goes on, the more people are going to question it. The more people, I've seen, little clips up images of people drawing their own lines and all sorts of, conspiracies and all sorts of nonsense going on. That the easy way for the PGMOL or the Premier League to put a stop to that would just be to put out a statement to reply to media requests to sort of explain that situation. And if they have made a mistake, it's probably the biggest VAR error you've ever seen, because it's such an obvious one that you can see what it looks like with your eyes, that it looks like a good goal to me. Maybe the lines will be drawn and maybe the statements will come out and say that they've gone through the process. They'll give you a screenshot and suddenly all will look clear. But I think, look, we don't know. We have to wait and see. But the fact that it's been this long and they haven't just said, oh yeah, well, we gave that because, that probably is setting off a few alarm bells. So, look, if that is one that Liverpool have been robbed in that particular moment, then, I mean, that is just incredible, isn't it? You can kind of make a case for certain red card decisions being, wrong, or, certain things that have gone against Liverpool at certain points today. I think, that they have been really unfortunate, but, if something like that is wrong, and we don't know that it is yet, but it certainly doesn't look great. If that is to be the case, then, I mean, it's just absolutely remarkable. And it just compounds a day, really, where Liverpool have just had nothing go for them. Even, that the own goal is unfortunate at the end. Every element of it. Cody Gakpo gets injured while scoring. There's just so many things that you just think, how can all of that go wrong on one day? It's quite remarkable. Yeah, we'll see what gets said about that decision. But with my eyes and everybody else's eyes, it certainly looked like it was onside. And yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. But if it does come out that it's an error, I'm not sure that that's going to improve the mood of everybody at Liverpool.
No, it's a bit of a where do we go next with the VAR moment. I think if they have somehow managed to get that one wrong. I mean, we don't want to speak about the officials too much. Obviously, there were a lot of positives to be taken, but I mean, just a word on the Jota one, because I mean, the second yellow, I don't think there's any debate. It's a stupid thing to do, but yeah. I mean, the first yellow card, by the looks of it, he gets that for the Spurs player just tripping over his own feet. And I mean, I've seen people online calling for yellow cards to be getting checked by VAR now as well. I mean, I'm not sure that's really the solution, given that they can, get red cards wrong so often. But
I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. The PGMOL statements, I've just got Sky on in the background, and they have made a mistake. They've admitted that the Luis Diaz goal, it's a significant human error from the VAR official. I'm baffled as to how they've managed to do that. But yeah, it's been confirmed now that the PGMOL statement has gone off the screen, unfortunately. I'll try and get it up in the background in a second to give people that in full, but I just don't understand how that has not been given. How can you have drawn the lines or have looked at that in a way in which you've come to a conclusion that is offside? It looked onside. You've got the technology to do it. You can't have drawn the lines in the wrong place because there's no other attacker. There's, it's not, I can't remember which game it was, but there was one earlier in the season where there was loads of players in the box and they drew the line from the wrong player. And that was bad enough, but at least there was a crowd there and you had to make a decision. I mean, with that, it's literally just a case of Diaz, the defender, and that's it. I cannot believe that they've got that wrong. And yeah, it's a significant factual error, and it just compounds a really, really tough afternoon for Liverpool. I mean, what can you do? What good is an apology now that Liverpool have had 2 red cards? They've not had that goal. I mean, yeah, I just don't know what to say, to be honest. It's onside. It should have counted, and Liverpool have been robbed there.
I think the thing is as well, I think what will frustrate a lot of people, as you say, where do we go from here? Because I think it was Darren England on the VAR. I mean, he'll miss a week and he'll be back. They'll be back making mistakes the week after, won't they? I mean, that really does beg a belief. I can't quite believe that they've had the. Like I said, I'm just speechless about that. Really, I don't really know what to say. But yeah, we were speaking about the Jota yellow card. Obviously, maybe a mistake for that first one, but we'll move on from the refereeing. I mean, we'll move on to some of the positives. I mean, I say positives. It's a source of frustration for myself. But how has Alisson not been nominated for that? You know, the Ballon d'Or awards. They have a goalkeeping award. I think there was 12 nominees, and he didn't make the shortlist. And I mean, he's just so clearly the best goalkeeper in the world, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, some of those that he did this afternoon, he made them look easy, but that's his doing. They weren't easy. There was one from Maddison on the edge of the box that he tips around the post, and I don't think many goalkeepers would save it. It's right in the corner. He's had to just get his fingertips to it, but he's in the right position. He's moved his foot in the perfect moment to be able to get across, and if he doesn't do every single element of that save properly, then the ball is in the back of the net and it's a completely different game. So, just in every aspect, really, he took the pressure off Liverpool. They were massively under the cosh, obviously. With a man and then 2 men down, he was perfect with his feet, perfect in terms of his distribution, the saves that he made, the positions he put himself in. It was an expert performance, a perfect performance in terms of a goalkeeper in that kind of situation. I mean, you feel for him as much as anybody else. He can't do anything with the Matip goal. It's from close range and there's nothing he can do. He saved Liverpool time and time again. You feel for him almost more than anybody else, because it's a ridiculous situation that they've come away without the points there. And, it could have been so different if they had have got a point there. And obviously we'd still be having the discussion about the offside goal that should have stood. But if they had have got that, then, Alisson would have been the hero and he'd be the one that we were talking about. So, yeah, it shouldn't be forgotten how good he was. But I'm sure there are more pressing matters at hand.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have our customary word on Dominic Szoboszlai. I mean, how much does having a player like that in your midfield 3 help us, especially when you're going down to 9 men? How much of an impact does he make? He can do the running of 3 men in midfield, can't he? I mean, I think we all heard about him impressing on the lactate tests at the start of the season, but I don't think anybody was expecting him to be this much of an athlete, were they?
No, he's incredible, isn't he? He's so fast. He's strong. He's got every aspect to play in that Liverpool midfield. And to be fair, you probably need it, not just in games like today, but just generally the amount that is asked of players in that position for Liverpool. It's truly remarkable what he gets through. Obviously, don't want to jinx him or anything, but he seems to be physically robust and able to do that week after week. He's just an incredible fit, really, for Liverpool. He, as you say, did the running of 2 players. He does that even when Liverpool have got 11 on the pitch. So, yeah, it was another good step forward for him. He ends the game playing up front, I think, as kind of a number 9 on his own. He's played all sorts of positions for Liverpool. He was in, a double pivot at some point today. And, yeah, again, it's just hard. It's hard to come back to. You just feel sorry for him, because what can you do? You perform as well as that. Everything is against you, and still you come away with nothing. So, yeah, it's quite remarkable. It's I don't know what to say, to be honest. I think Alisson, Szoboszlai, McAllister for large parts of it, the 2 centre halves, Andy Robertson. There are positives to take, but ultimately Liverpool have got no points, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah,
obviously no points to take away from that game, but I mean, in terms of positives to take away, I think it was certainly another spirit-building performance, going down to 10 and then 9 and coming, so close away at Spurs to getting a draw. And obviously if that Diaz goal had stood, who knows how the game could have gone. So, yeah, another performance that helps to sort of rebuild that spirit or build up the spirit in this Liverpool 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way that you've got to look at it. I think, we saw Darwin Núñez at the end going up to the away fans and kind of geeing them up and being sort of positive about what it means to come next. I think look, Jurgen Klopp has got every reason to build a bit of a case of us against the world type thing after a decision like that. I think that the next game that Liverpool play in the Premier League is a very tough one in Brighton, but I think we'll see Liverpool play to a good level. You'd like to think across the course of the season they might get one or two decisions in their favour, but I'm not sure any of those will be quite as big as the one that they've had chalked off today. So I don't know. It's a hard one to assess and analyse. I'm sure there's a lot of anger and hopefully, that can be channeled in the right way. But yeah, ultimately you come back to it. Liverpool have not got the points that they should have done. And no matter what they do from this point in the rest of the season, I mean, that could be decisive, couldn't it? So it's a massive error that has cost Liverpool. But I suppose that's the only positive thing that can come out of it is that, they can kind of channel that in the right way, put that into the next game and put a few past Brighton. If Aston Villa can put 6 past them, then certainly Liverpool can beat them. But, they're not going to get back the points that they've lost today, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to say I was not expecting that Aston Villa Brighton result. But yeah, like you say, still positives to be taken from today. I mean, City, United and Everton all lost as well. So, I mean, it would have been a really perfect Saturday if Liverpool had managed to get the result. A few people in the comments still asking about that Diaz offside. If you missed Matt's interjection there, the PGMOL have confirmed that they somehow managed to get that one wrong. So we'll see what comes of that in the week following. But that is all we've got time for here on the debrief today. So Matt, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.